Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I know it's been a little while, but I'm currently in my exam period for my university, so the videos might be a little bit less frequent than you're used to. I did want to film this video. I don't know when it's gonna go up, but for now I'm just filming it because I have a little bit of off time and we'll see whenever it gets up. So the topic of today's video is going to be, do you need kick 2? Now the reason for that is I got a lot of questions on the other videos that I've done on kick drums, asking if it wasn't better that I use the kick 2 synth because it's specifically designed for kick drums. So that's what I wanted to test today. Now to do that I want to try to do something that kick 2 is particularly good at, and that is recreating kick drums. The reason for that is because you have so much control over all of the parameters of your kick. You have the ability to tweak your kick however you want, and therefore you are very precise in recreating kick drums. So I just wanted to see if that could also be done with any other synth. Hello, I quickly wanted to say if you want to support this channel, you can do so by listening to my music on Spotify or Apple Music, or by going to my website and looking at some of my products. There are even free ones that you can download really easily. Alternatively, if you're interested in private lessons, I also provide those, and all the information for that you can also find on my website. So this is the project. As you can see, we have our size scope set up here, and then we have a source and a reference, and I can just listen to, for example, the reference that we have, which is this kick drum here, which I extracted from a track, which is the full throttle GMS remix, and I extracted a kick drum. It's not the best sounding, there's a little bit of noise in there at the start, but it's good enough for us to actually see if we're actually making a kick drum that sounds like the kick drum that we have here. So I just want to dive right into setting up the basics for the synthesis. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to open up Serum, and we'll select the sine wave by the basic shapes, and then we'll set up our 3 LFOs, envelope, and I'll set this one to 16. This goes here, and then we'll have the one that is responsible for the body of the kick, which we'll set to 1/8, and that goes to the master tuning. Now we need to worry about the envelope, so we're going to go in here and we're going to draw in a particular envelope like this. This is just to get us started, and we'll fine-tune all of these parameters as we go, but this allows us to just set up a volume envelope like this, and then we get a kick drum. Now it is sounding like a kick drum, but we can hear that it's obviously different from what we have here. So this is the example. So what we can do is we can use an analyzer to actually see where they differ. Now there's a few things to note here. For one, this kick extends beyond the halfway point. That is usually not what we want, because that's where the sub bass for our bass line comes. So I'm just going to fix that by determining that we want the bass of the kick to stop right there. And now we can see that they stop at the same point. But we can see another issue, and that is that our kick is constantly re-triggering and creating a new kick drum. You can see it's constantly a different wave. So to fix that, we're just going to set the randomness to 0. And let's divide this up so that we have Serum on top. And then we'll have size scope down here. We'll make it nice and big so we can see exactly what is going on. Now the very first thing that we need to do is we need to try to line up this waveform. So we can, for example, set it here. And then we're already pretty close. But we can see here we're lined up, and here we're getting a little bit behind it. So what that might mean is that we need to slightly change this around. And now that seems to be okay, but I want this to be slightly higher. And we can again tweak this a little bit, something like that. And you can see that from this point on, we're pretty well matched in terms of the pitch decay. It's not perfect, but we're getting pretty close. So now let's worry about the volume decay. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to normalize this. That might be a bit too much. We just want it like this. And now we can actually edit our volume curve to make sure that it's similar. So now, listening to the differences between our two kicks, we can hear that in terms of the hi-hat and obviously the little bit of layer that is on top of that, they actually sound pretty similar. And what we mean by that is that the main oomph, so the main punch of the kick, as well as the sub bass of the kicks, sound basically the same. And we can see that in the waveform too. There are very minor differences between these kicks. Now I could go on and add a whole bunch of processing and process in the hat and process maybe even in that little reverb thing if I really wanted to make a good comparison. But what I wanted to show with this video is that you don't need Kick 2 for any of the things that you would specifically use it for anything kick drum related. Now I don't want to hate on Kick 2 because it does something really well, and that is it consolidates a workflow in the sense that what we have done with just two plugins and this whole analyzing setup, you can just do that within the plugin. It will show you the waveform of one of the kicks and you can just match the waveforms up within the plugin itself. But there is this idea that you need that kind of tool to be able to do that. And I want to show you with this video that that's not really the case. You can do a whole bunch of different things with tools that are not necessarily designed to do that. Now that might not seem very significant to you at first, but then when you realize that you are spending money on these tools, it might become a little bit more significant that you don't have to go out and now buy Kick 2 if you actually want to remake a kick drum. You can use Serum if you already have that. Now you might ask yourself, or just me, like, what is the point of all of this? Serum is a lot more expensive than Kick 2, so your whole point is proven wrong because I need actually more expensive tool to do it this way than your way. Well, Serum is a general purpose synth. You can make any sound with it. Basically any sound. You can go from a complex atmosphere to a kick drum, to hi-hats, to a synth line, a big sequence, whatever you want. But Kick 2 is a very specialized synth. You can only really make kick drums with it. It wasn't designed to do anything else than that. So if you're a beginning producer and you're trying to get into production by learning things like making kick drums and all that kind of stuff, you might want to invest in specific tools like that, thinking that it really massively improves your workflow. But what you're really doing is you're limiting yourself because you're not getting the general purpose synth that allows you to do a whole bunch of more stuff. And again, it's not that you shouldn't buy Kick 2 for the purpose of making kick drums. You will be faster in Kick 2 making kick drums than you will be with this Serum method. But it's not needed. Once you get to a point where you can afford to spend the extra money on a very specific kind of plugin or a synth, then it's definitely reasonable that you get one of those. But if you're just starting out as a music producer, you might not have the money to justify putting into music production that much, then in that case you shouldn't spend the money on specific tools. You should try to find ways that you can use general tools that are multi-purpose, and use them for a whole range of different things. A cool byproduct from that is that a lot of general purpose synths tend to work in a similar manner. They are all basically have the same kind of structure and architecture behind them. So when you learn one, you can become very proficient in another in a relatively small amount of time. So for example, I've been getting into Vital and I have very little trouble actually making cool sounds in Vital because I already know Serum. And in terms of architecture and what they do and how they do it, they're very similar synths. Whereas if I had spent that time working on Kick 2, there's not really a different plugin that the skill set that you learn from working within Kick 2 translates to well. So this is what I wanted to say on this topic. I know you probably also have an opinion on this topic, so I would love to have maybe a little bit of a discussion on this, see if we agree on things, if we disagree on things. So if you have anything that you especially disagree with me on, then let me know in the comments down below. I'm very interested in that kind of stuff, because for me it's also a way of learning, obviously. But that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, then let me know by leaving a like. And if you're new here and you want to catch more of my videos, you can subscribe. And you can also turn on the bell notifications to actually get notified by YouTube when I upload something, either through email or for a notification on your phone, because otherwise YouTube just doesn't care. And most of the time it will not actually show my videos to you in your recommended or stuff like that. But that's it for today. So again, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.